Good morning. This is Casey with AOG Armor of God Woodworks in South Georgia. Just wanted to kind of talk to you this morning a little bit. I've been watching videos on YouTube with these guys that are running shops, and one thing I noticed, like their main thing that they're projecting is how much money can you make running a wood shop. And for somebody that's trying to get into this or is interested in opening a shop, I will tell you that it is very expensive to open a shop. You could spend, $10,000 to, if you have a place where you can have a shop, you spend about $10,000 on your starting tools. If you have to build a shop from scratch and get all the materials that you want, and the equipment and stuff like that, you could spend upwards of, the sky's the limit. I mean, 250, 500,000, a million, whatever your budget is, you can spend it and then some. So what I wanted to talk to you about is the business that I run. I do heart pine furniture. I do custom cabinets, custom furniture. I do custom artwork. I make Punisher skulls and Spartan helmets and stuff like that, just for people to put over like their gun safes and in their gun rooms and stuff like that. They're really cool looking. But the main focus of your shop, if it's money and you're constantly pushing what's my bottom dollar, how much money am I making? If everything that you do is focused on money, the success may be there, but I don't think the satisfaction will be. If you're constantly focused on how many greenbacks you can make, like if you're building tables, how many greenbacks can I make off of this? Your product is going to begin to suffer. And I've noticed that with shops all over the place. If your main concern is money and your main focus is money and not the actual satisfaction of doing the woodworking part of it, your company, your product will suffer. I'm not going to say your company will, because it may continue to be successful, but your product will suffer. You're going to start cutting corners, trying to save a couple bucks or a couple pennies or whatever it is, and eventually your products aren't going to be as good as they were when they started. Like whenever I make a heart pine table, I could probably get away with putting 4 coats of tongue oil on it, but I'm gonna put 7 because I know that's how many it takes to make it, to get the finish that I want on it. And there's a lot of factors that go into running a shop. You have to be dedicated to it, first of all. I run this shop right now, and I also build custom homes, and the shop is important to me, and so are the custom homes. And you kind of have to maneuver yourself around and make yourself flexible to make both of the businesses work. I will also tell you that this is not always fun, and it is very satisfying, but a lot of the stuff that we do is not much fun. Whenever I do like a heart pine table, or I do any kind of heart pine, I actually have to go out and usually harvest the heart pine. There's nowhere around here where I live that you can go buy it, and if you can go buy it, it is very expensive. I have a few connections around here. People let me go to and salvage wood out of their barns or these old abandoned houses that are on properties, and they actually let me go and harvest the wood off of them. And usually I don't have to even pay for it. They want to get rid of it, and they're either going to bulldoze it down and burn it, or they'll just let it sit there and dilapidate and rot. But a lot of these folks will actually let me go in there and harvest the material and salvage it to make something really nice. You're not going to be an instant prodigy or an instant success doing this. You can't go on YouTube and let somebody tell you, oh, you got to make, you got to make $90,000 a year to make this work. You have to make what you have to make. You don't have to make what somebody else tells you that you have to make. Matter of fact, you don't have to do anything that anybody tells you to do, except for God. You listen to what the Bible tells you, and you will be doing exactly what you're supposed to do. Don't take it out of context. Read it for what it is. And God will lead you where you need to go if you have the faith that will happen. Watching all these YouTubers, and I'm not bashing anybody, I'm not blasting anybody. I appreciate the videos that these guys put out, but I will tell you that you cannot be successful based on somebody else's success. You have to be successful on your own terms. If you make $20,000 a year doing what you're doing and you're happy, guess what? You're successful. If you make $1 million a year and you're not happy, you're not successful. I'm sorry. The money means absolutely nothing. What does mean something is your happiness and your satisfaction with the product that you're turning out. Now, you have to price it based on like where you live. What is this product? I do a lot of exotic wood work in this shop. And, you know, a lot of it's still sitting in my showroom because it's expensive. And people don't, you know, I have to sell it outside of where I live, and that's fine. You know, that's what we have to do. But a lot of the stuff I build is for local people. And they understand, you know, like if I do heart pine, they know it's 2 or 3 times the work of going to the hardware store and just picking up some dimensional lumber and coming over here and slapping something together. They understand that, you know, I've got to pay for the electricity in this shop. I've got to pay for the tools. I've got to pay for if I bust a saw blade, whatever. You know, you got to kind of factor that in, and it may be pure profit at the time that you do it, but you go in and, you know, you bust your table saw. I mean, that could be a $5,000 mistake. You bust a saw blade. The saw blades I use on mine, I've got a 5-horse Grizzly. It is a GO605X1 5 horsepower 12-inch table saw. I use Forest saw blades on there, and if I bust it, it's about $250. If I hadn't factored something into my product, then, you know, I'm taking that out of my pocket, which, you know, you really have to factor in loss of material or loss of equipment whenever you're pricing something, and it has to go into every single price of what you do. It can't just be like, well, you know, I busted my $250 saw blade, so this next customer is getting hit with a $250 extra bill, so I can pay for my saw blade. Now, that's not how it works. You have to kind of factor that into every single job that you do, put some money back and hang on to it, and, you know, just don't spend it. Spend it on the things that you need. If there's a tool that you've got to have, go get it. If there's a tool that you might use it, then, you know, one of the biggest conversations that we've had in this business is, should I buy a CNC machine? Well, you know, the deal that they have on them right now, yes, buy it. Am I going to use it enough? Probably not. I don't have anywhere in my shop really to put one that isn't going to get really dusty and really dirty. And, you know, I would rather spend $12,000 or $15,000 on something else versus a CNC machine. Now, that's me. You may need the CNC machine more than I do, and that's fine. Just the way that our company is and the way that this business is, I don't really see the need for it right now. I see needs for other things. And so you have to base your needs and wants off of your needs and wants, not what somebody else is trying to tell you to do. And, you know, I've been running this shop for about 5 or 6 years. Been real serious in it for, you know, I've been in the construction business. I started whenever I was, I guess you could say I started when I was 13. I started working in the summers when I was 13. I'm 40 now, so that's 27 years of experience. I started helping my dad in the shop whenever I was about 7. He would let me, you know, run the little sanders and stuff like that, and I was supposed to be sanding cabinets. I don't really know if I was sanding finished cabinets or if he was just giving me something to do. But I have been around this equipment for a long time. I've been, you know, in a cabinet shop and around the construction field for a really long time. We got really serious with this, you know, a few years ago, and a need arose that we saw, and there were other businesses around us that they couldn't put out what we can put out. And I'm not saying that we're better than anybody else, and I'm not saying that these other companies can't do what we do, because they can. The only problem is they don't have the equipment, or they just don't have the space. Like, they could get the equipment, but there's no space to use it. This shop is 4,800 square feet, somewhere around there. It's a pretty good sized shop, and we built it in 2006, I think. But I've been in this business for a long time. I built houses all my life. I didn't really go to college. I went to a technical school and got my electrical degree. I actually ended up with 2 degrees accidentally, just because our advisors kind of shifted us around, and it worked out pretty good. But I did want to tell you that this is a motivational video about you wanting to open your wood shop. And I think it's really important to understand that just because somebody tells you you need something doesn't mean that you do. You get what you need, when you need it, and how you need it. And all these guys out here telling you, oh, if you build a table, this size right here, you've got to charge, $15,000. Well, I'll tell you from experience, you might need to charge $15,000. But if your clients aren't willing to pay it, you're not selling. And, any day of the week that, you're out there making all this stuff and you're not selling it, man, that's lost income. But I will tell you that you have to base your prices on where you live. And how much you've got involved, or how much you've got in it. How much you need to get out of it. And, don't make your main focus the money, because if you do, your product will suffer. And I can promise you that. I've seen it happen to so many people over the years in the industry that I'm in. Their main focus was money, and making money, and then their product started to suffer. And whenever their product starts to suffer and it makes my product start to suffer, the end. If I've got to go in there and fix something on a job that I shouldn't have had to fix, one of my subcontractors screwed up, if I have to go in there and fix it, and I'm not going to be happy. It's, and the construction industry is becoming like a babysitting business, and I mean that's what it is. But anyhow, I will tell you, you do what you need to do, you charge what you need to charge, and more importantly than anything, you know who God is, and you make yourself happy. Y'all have a good one. This is Lumberjack, Armor of God Woodworks in South Georgia. Peace.